Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Hossbauer from MindMatrix. Thanks for joining our session today, Building Smarter Channel Marketing, AI Strategy Meets Practical Execution. So first off, thanks to the Channel Marketing Association for hosting this event. Thank you for everyone for attending. Really looking forward to a great conversation today. We've got two great panelists. I have Harbinder Kara, CEO of MindMatrix, and Stephanie Perche from Lenovo. So to get started, maybe Stephanie, if you can tell us a little bit about Lenovo, about who you are, what you do at Lenovo, and give the folks an introduction.
Well, Kevin, thanks for having me first. So I'm Stephanie. I'm based in Scotland, even if my accent is a bit strange, not really typical Scottish. I'm from France, and I am working at Lenovo. I've been in the business transformation for many, many, many years, and I am now managing the marketing digital transformation the past 3 years. So as you can imagine, AI is top of mind when you are thinking, not only for our marketing team within Lenovo, but also for our customers. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Harbinder, tell us a little bit about your history and your involvement with AI in MindMatrix.
Thank you. Thanks, Kevin, and thanks, Channel Marketing Association, for having us. So this is awesome. I started MindMatrix 28 years ago. I would say for the last 10 years, we've started to invest in AI, mostly initially on the machine learning side. For the last couple of years, we really heavily shifted into the actual deep learning, the AI side of the business. So we're looking at, from an AI perspective, across the board in a platform, not just the marketing, but also help training, sales enablement, inside operations, how you can bring AI into across the board in the platform, but also look at a platform and say, hey, how do we bring this technology to the partners? And not versus the partners coming to the technology. And AI and the agentic AI gives you the capability that you can bring the technology to the partners. And the other part of the vision behind MindMatrix here is in the next 6 months, we're trying to transform, I would say, 40% of our web app into an agent-based. So that means either you can interact through the web or you can use the AI agents to interact with the platform. So we're pretty excited and heavily invested in AI and excited to be part of this panel.
Awesome. So the format of our panel today, we'll have a discussion with Harbinder and Stephanie, and then also at the end, we'll walk into and kind of show some of the practical applications of AI in channel marketing today. So Stephanie, I wanted to start off pretty publicly. Lenovo has stated that they're willing to invest $1 billion over the next 3 years in AI. And that kind of runs the gamut of internally, externally, products, training people, everything. So kind of curious for you in the digital transformation side and focusing on marketing, what do you see as Lenovo's stance with AI, or how are you using AI, or what does AI look like at Lenovo from someone on the ground like you?
Well, it really depends on the activities you are doing, right? But if you look at AI from an overall umbrella, what we want to make sure it's really a key enabler to work and collaborate smarter, right? Leaving this element aside, which I think we all recognize, but also becomes very important, is making sure that when you start enabling and developing AI, what you have to remember is you need to make sure that you have the right governance, the right processes in place, the right resources to support it, but also being very mindful in what you are trying to resolve and solve, right? Because AI, it's everywhere. So we become all smooth wizard, but if you really want to use it in the most intelligent way, you have to be very much intentional. So that's some of the key elements that you always have to consider when you are thinking about AI, because it's very exciting. Everybody wants to onboard on the AI wave, but you have to be really structured on how you look at it to make sure that you make a difference for your customers and for any of your stakeholders.
Harbinder, hearing Stephanie talk about the security, the risk, the governance, as you're designing programs, you're designing tools to kind of enable programs, how does that play a part into your view of AI?
So as Stephanie pointed out, the data governance and security is the most important thing. So if you think about AI, without good data, there's no AI. Okay. And if you look at a company of Lenovo, size of Lenovo, thousands of partners, thousands of users across multiple geos, and they have so many different systems and data coming from multiple sources. So this data governance becomes so important and critical. So you want to make sure the partner data, Lenovo data, personal data, all has got proper guardrails around it. That's one. Secondly, when you think about a company of Lenovo's size, is you have partners of different types, tiers. Some may have access to certain pieces of information, and some may not have access to certain pieces of information. So when AI is executing, creating content, or doing anything, it has to really check and validate who has access to what data or not. So that becomes so critical, and then also making sure that information that has been spit out has proper controls. It's not like going to the public data and biases, and also there's a human in the loop verification. So you have to put all the processes in place when you're thinking of deploying a system, AI system at scale at company size of Lenovo.
And Stephanie, knowing your background and kind of history with digital transformation and your long tenure there, what are some things that are different about AI, or what are some things that you're finding that it's not like previous things, or what are some things that are unique to AI and AI implementations, AI programs that you're finding?
Well, it's a specific skill set. I think we all think that we can all become AI wizard, and we can. But if you are really transforming in a holistic fashion at an enterprise level, you have to be more than you really have to really make sure that you have the right skill sets and resources, because AI is very powerful, and inevitably with great powers come great responsibility. And that's, again, Arbiter was mentioning the security, the governance, and that is something that is paramount for us, because AI can provide, it's offering some multiple dimension and an ease of doing business that you also have to be able to trust it, making sure that the output you are receiving is really what you are looking for. And that's where all the groundwork to actually provide what is on the glass for a customer or any stakeholders, the behind the scene, the complexity are absolutely key. Making sure that we understand the scenarios in order for them to be resolved properly when you use AI. So truly, it's like an iceberg. You never see what is underneath the water, but that's really where the magic sauce is coming when you are using it.
Can I add, Kevin, about talk about specific skill set? I 100% agree. And one of the things people kind of, and the same problem we have today in the channel, traditional AI, partner marketing or any of these tools, people think we build it, people will come. And that's one. The second is that people don't put enough resources behind, partner marketing tools to create content or manage, administer, monitor, and think that once you put it in, people will start using it. Okay. Now with AI, that problem doesn't go away. It's a different skill set has shifted from one side to another, but the problem's still there. I'm going to give you a simple example. Let's say you deploy this agentic model, framework, AI, sophisticated tools, and you think the partners will come and start using it. No, you have to solve other partner engagement and challenges to solve that problem. You may have the beautiful castle and tools. If partners have some other issues they're dealing with, they never log into your portal, it's not going to drive the engagement. I want to make sure we address that problem first before we start heavily investing in AI. And coming back to the skill set part, one of the things we're realizing that if you just have an AI system, you need an expert who's monitoring the system prompts for agents. What is the right guardrails and how the agents have been trained? You monitor, you're making sure everything is set up, configured correctly. Your consumption of LLMs is going up or not. Every day there's something new is coming. You need people with different skill set manage it, and you want to make sure what partners they're asking if the AI is giving a wrong result or is giving incomplete result or not giving a result. So you need to make sure the AI has the right data that feeds the engine. Okay, if you don't have the right data, everything is going to come out incorrectly. And the other part is, if the wrong data gets in, Think about this. An organization that is so big, if wrong data comes in, we call it as a data poisoning. Guess what happens? Everybody has access to wrong data. Agent AI spitting out some wrong pricing, wrong product information, then there is a chaos. Okay? You need a different skill set to manage it. So the skill set has shifted from a traditional marketer skill set to a different skill set. I'm not even sure companies are ready or thinking about it. Some companies are, but that is really the shift. Before we deploy this the AI technology, you got to think about all those elements. Those are the foundational elements. Stephanie, what are your thoughts? Make sense?
I absolutely agree with you. And I would say that sometimes AI can also blur a bit the role and responsibility as a user, right? Because, you can start to think that you can create content on the fly. And okay, yes, you can create content on the fly, but should you really be creating content on the fly? Is it really your role? And that's really where AI is truly a revolution, very exciting, but like any revolution, you have to make sure that you are really thinking about it in a very, very end-to-end way to make sure that it's truly a success, because it looks simple on the surface, but there is a lot of complexity to unpack and a lot of responsibility and maturity to really use it. But absolutely a game changer. I think everybody recognizes it, and that's why we are all focusing on it, because it's truly revolutionary and do provide speed in speed and efficiencies when you work.
It's interesting because we're almost 12 minutes into the session, and everything we've talked about is not the end screen for the users. It's not the feature functionality. It's not what the problems that AI will solve. It's all about the foundation and setting yourself up success. And it's a lot about people. It seems like that's also one thing too, that everyone wants to show off new shiny tools and show off all the new apps that they have that are AI, but it really is the foundation of people and process. And I'm curious if you've seen any new ways or any innovative ways that people are either setting new KPIs, or how you're managing AI success, or how you're setting up these either programs or even building the software. Harbinder, how do you leverage people as still being such a strong part of AI?
So big part is AI, you got to have human in the loop. Okay. And so without, as I saw this recent article on LinkedIn, you need humans because they accelerate trust. That is important. So you need humans in the loop, and without proper humans in the loop. So that means you need to provide better tools, KPIs, dashboards for these people who are monitoring this on a day-to-day basis. So reporting, that could be the usage reporting, incorrect data, prompt usage, all of that. And the usage, and then also the KPIs that you have defined. So the KPIs could be, how quickly somebody can get access to content. That's if it's just a help agent. So if the content is good, how accurate the content is, people are saying thumbs up, thumbs down, they're happy, giving good rating. If the thumbs down coming on a good content, that means whatever you're doing is not working. And so then you have a content creation KPIs. The people are actually, partners are coming and using that. Now, not only just using, let's say, Lenovo's content, building content, but also using their own content to personalize the content using the brand content and their own content. Okay. So, and again, it's a user feedback coming in. Are they happy, and are they seeing the benefit? And then there is a dashboard that you're monitoring that on an ongoing basis. So you got to have this human in the loop and behind the scene that is taking care of that.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because I've got a few takeaways that we'll list out at the end, but I think this is one major one before we even get into the programs and the technology and all those pieces. That it's the people, it's strong planning, it's strong admins, it's strong process. That's what's going to drive adoption. That's what drives the enablement. It's not how flashy your tool is or what it does. You need to have that strong foundation first.
The ease of doing business and really the trust. At the end of the day, that's what is very, very key, and the accuracy of the data you are using, that you can trust what you are using and you feel comfortable to go back and use it and lean on it. So really, AI is a complementary tool to work smarter. That's really how I would use, the best description is not to remove the human being, because human being play a key role, but it's really assisting the human being in their day-to-day activities role to then, being able to make a difference and work faster.
Great.
You
And I
know,
think
as
that,
one,
sorry, go
one
ahead.
thing quickly is I will say trust. If the trust gets eroded, everything goes downhill. So building trust is the key. So that means good data and user experience, is all those things add up, and that's how it helps build trust. So go ahead.
Great. Yeah, and I think that that's a good transition over to maybe getting into some of those granular examples because, again, AI should supplement existing programs, existing initiatives, and talking about it in partner marketing and channel marketing. Some of those use cases in the traditional sense of using AI for generative AI for content creation or using agentic AI for bots and enablement inside of platforms. Harbin, I'm kind of curious to hear, as you're building these things and as you're seeing across the industry, what are some of those those easy places to maybe get into AI that are the more traditional channel marketing, partner marketing activities?
So we have looked at, from a Mind Matrix point of view, we've kind of broken this down into 6 different categories where you can bring AI or we're deploying agents. One is help. The help could be sales help, portal help, marketing help, any help. So you can use agent and AI for help. So basically in the portal or in the web. So one of the things that we are basically providing is we call as personal GPT, in a sense, the partner GPT, so they can take that and they want to put it on their website. And if they want to do that, so basically, or they want to use internally in the portal. And so that is on the help side. That's one help category. The second is traditional marketing. So marketing is where you can create content that could be email content, social content, blog, website, presentation, any content, generative content, and build an email campaign, or you can build a landing page, automate social posting, all that based on AI content. So there's 2 parts. One is generating the content, and then second part is the automation of the content. So when content gets generated, verification gets posted. Okay. So everything has to have an outcome associated with that. So that is the marketing piece. The third piece is sales, very big component. Is the sales, I would say I'm going to sales enablement. So where a sales rep can do an account-based research, they can get to know about and they can do sentiment analysis. They can do an analysis on a conversation they're having as a web call. And then the outcome is that how you can take that information and create email around it, report around it, or presentation around it, or pre-discovery calls, the discovery calls you do, how you prepare a sales rep around that. Then as a channel manager, as an account manager, you have a lot of data insight that you available to you, how you use AI to score predictive analytics, say which partner is going to be performing, not performing. There's some of the things that we're looking at. Then is the fourth category, solutioning. It's a very big piece, and it's a very big piece for Lenovo as well. Lenovo has the solution hub where they bring in multi-vendors come together, alliance partners to create these different solutions. And this is all about enabling partners to understand how these products come together to solve problem. And AI plays a key role from a training and enablement and creating multi-vendor content. So that's another big piece around solutioning. Then is training. And so you can use AI for creating training quizzes, bite-sized learning, surveys. So that is all part of the training and survey execution. That is another bucket. And the last category is all about insight, getting insight from an operations point of view when you're running just a program across the board. So using AI across so that is really how we are looking at it. And so we're deploying in Mind Matrix, we call complete agentic framework that you can build. So we have broken this down into orchestrator agents that are basically defined, take the task from a user, and then give the task to worker agents that basically do these tasks behind the scene. So you have worker agents, supervisory agent, training agent, monitoring agent. So basically we're trying to create this agentic framework so company at scale can deploy this and automate end-to-end operation. not just singular operation. To see the business outcome, you need to have an end-to-end solution as part of this. So that is really part of MindMatrix strategy. So that's how we see it.
Stephanie, how do you take with what Harbinder mentioned there of that strategy and the movement from maybe those traditional partner marketing functions, those traditional marketing functions that were already existing? How does an organization like Lenovo, or how does someone like you take those and try to implement those in an organization, or try to evaluate how to use those and set those up for your systems?
So it's back to what I was saying at the beginning of the call, is what is the problem we are trying to solve? What is the business outcome we want to have? And how we make sure that we are really looking at it from an end-to-end. Because, Lenovo is a big company and we have a big entrepreneurial spirit mindset. So how we make sure that we don't duplicate effort, or that because the way we are going to set it up, we end up with a different result. So that's really where it's so important. When I was saying that we have to be very intentional and really looking at it from an end to end, you have to be specific. And I would say, the AI journey at the beginning, you think you know where you're going to go, and you know where you're going to go, but there are so many others discovery on the way, because it's really gigantic. And that's where is making sure from the get-go you really know what you are trying to solve, to then being able to really have that framework, to really being able to then enable the AI capability that is going to make a difference in the day-to-day of your customers or within Lenovo.
Kevin, I will add one thing what Stephanie mentioned, Lenovo being entrepreneurial. I have never come across a company of that size that are so quick to change and adapt to new things. Once they see that there's a path being set, they're very fast. After the legal work is done, let's say the paperwork. I'm saying after that,
security, trust.
Security, exactly, legal and security. If that part is after that is super nimble, fast, and that has really been a very refreshing experience working with Lenovo over four years now. Is it 4 or 5 years? That's been a long time. So that is, I would say, I echo what you said, and entrepreneurial, 100%. Company of that size to be entrepreneurial, that is really commendable.
It's interesting too, Stephanie, that you mentioned earlier about creating things on the fly, and that everyone can do it, but should everyone really be doing it? Whenever you were just talking about framework too, I was also thinking that sometimes people think framework is what they need to fill in and what the things that they need to do and maybe do more. But it even sounds like now too is understanding that framework might be that those guardrails that you're putting on and how you're going to contain them and give people the right things. So in an entrepreneurial spirit environment too, of that when everyone wants to do so much, maybe framework isn't trying to get people to extend and do more. Maybe it's doing what's within inside of their guardrails and being very purposeful on all those things as well.
True, and it's also how you communicate the value, how you train for all the users to understand why it's done in a certain way and why there are also guardrails. I mean, at the end of the day, a guardrail does not mean that it's limiting you. It's actually to give you the right safeguard to being able to really tap in the value of what you are using, and inevitably, there are resistance. Like any initiative you do. When you are running the project, you know where you're going to go. Some of the users that are part of this transformation, they also need themselves time to understand and being at the same level of understanding to really embrace the change. I genuinely believe there is really an appetite in AI everywhere you go, everywhere you see, you hear about AI. So that's something that needs to be then truly tackled in the right way to make sure that it's not being seen as something that is threatening, but really providing tangible value in what we do.
And to hear that, I think that feeds into one of our takeaways as well. And I'll say content, process, people, all of those things, they don't get fixed with AI. And if you don't have strong foundations on those things, it's still going to be broken. Your bad content is still going to be bad content. Your bad process is still bad process. It's just maybe they can happen faster. And maybe it might be even more dangerous to have those where it's a bigger threat for those things to move so much faster with AI. So yeah, great points on there. I do want to transition into one more piece here, is that we've talked about the the foundations. We've talked about some of the use cases that most folks might know, solving partner marketing and channel marketing issues. But I think that there's also some new use cases and some new ways and maybe some innovative pieces that we might want to drill into of how AI is enabling companies, and it's enabling companies like Lenovo. And I think, Harbin, you mentioned one thing about around the multi-vendor content and the solution selling piece. I think that's something that always perks people's ears and it catches attention. What does that look like?
So let's, if we think about a Lenovo or anybody that has alliance partners like Microsoft, NVIDIA, all these partners. And they have joint solutions. They're creating joint solutions with Lenovo as an example. And so they have their own content, and then Lenovo has a content, and then the partner has his own content. So let's say the solution I'm looking at VDI or a backup or disaster recovery that uses one of the alliance partners as part of the solution, NVIDIA, or as part of the AI solution. So multi-vendor content generation that could be that how you leverage on that particular solution. But a partner should be able to come in and say, hey, I'm pitching this solution to CEO or CFO or an IT manager. I need to talk about key talking points, or I need to focus on XYZ value prop. Can you help find the value prop across all the content around that solution that is cut across different vendors that are participating in that? Okay. That is the multi-vendor solution, because now it's a sales enablement. It's helping the partner has the right content to go after, pitch that solution to their customer. That's what. And the other part is the translation. There's something we didn't talk about. Translation is very big, especially the companies of Lenovo's size. People, so many geos speaking different languages. How do you take content and same content, repurpose it many different ways? Now, the important part of the translation is, the AI has add some nuances to it, because what comes out of, let's say, OpenAI or some of these models may not be perfect. The important part is, how do you add Lenovo's context to it? What that means is Lenovo's standard data dictionary in French or German that is consistent, that could be used. They want to make sure how XYZ is represented in France is exactly the same in Germany. You can't really screw up in the terms. Taking that context, using that when you're doing the translation. That is the key. Not just simply just putting the text and getting a translation. So that is so many layers. As you start working with companies such as Lenovo, you got to keep all that in mind when you're doing that. So Stephanie, you want to add to that?
No, absolutely. It's music to my ears. And it's true for me, AI translation is something so normal that I don't even think it's AI anymore. And that's really where, Kevin, when you see AI is part of your day-to-day jobs and activities, you don't think anymore it's AI because it's so normal, right? Translation is a key element where it's been a game changer. How quickly you get your content translated. You still need, of course, someone to verify and do the proofreading, because again, there is always a bit of nuances and again, AI, is very smart. It learns and adjusts very, very quickly, but you still need to have that element, but it saves so much time.
And I think maybe that's the true testament of a well thought out program from the very foundations and the process and the governance, the security and all those pieces, that whenever the end users are actually using these tools, that they don't realize, or maybe even whenever someone's consuming content that was AI created, that if you have all those things in place and you've done such a great job, that it's amplified your reach, amplified your voice, amplified your goals, but it doesn't abruptly feel like that you've crossed over into something that's an AI tool. So that's an interesting insight as well. I know another thing too we've talked about is around partner communications, around training, around those pieces, that there's the execution of actual marketing programs, but there's also the administration and kind of getting these things up and going. And there's a lot of AI that plays into that too as well. I'd be curious to hear how you're using AI in the partner communications, the training, the onboarding, all of those pieces.
You want me to go quickly, Stephanie, on this?
So, go ahead.
No. Partner comms is great. This is really an important element. If you don't communicate partners what you're trying to do, again, going back to the same, you build a castle, you don't communicate effectively. And the other important part is, two-partner communication is very, very important. The other important part is hyper-personalizing that experience based on what they want to hear from you. Okay, that's another important part. It's not just you tell them everything you do. They don't care 90% of the things you do. They want to really focus on things that they want to hear from you. That is the important part. So that's really the partner communication technology that allows you to opt in into things you want to hear, and then also you want to hear in your voice, in your language. That is a very, very important aspect. That's where the AI comes in, making sure that is, if I'm listening, I want to hear in my language what Lenovo wants to communicate. So that's where the AI plays such an important role. Stephanie, you can add to that. Sorry, I don't want to
No,
steal
no,
your thunder, but that's
it's absolutely true. Being again, meaningful in what you communicate, being impactful, and really putting yourself in the shoes of your customers. And I think that's really what is important. We all have critical activities to do on a day-to-day basis. You don't want to be flooded by communication you don't see any value for you. So how you make sure that what is communicating to you is really going to provide you a true insight for you to be able to take an action, as opposed to go through multiple varieties of communication that may not tell what you need or to help you to solve a problem. And that's where AI also is helping you with all the algorithm that they can crush in a fast way to really assist as as an AI agent to really help you in your day-to-day activities to be smarter. And you always hear me with the word smarter, but it's really a smarter collaboration. That's what AI is providing.
I heard smarter, and I heard at the beginning of the call too, less friction. And I think that goes into kind of the final takeaway here of that these things are purposeful, and that you're integrating AI as a strategy and AI execution, that you're going to where the partners are, you're going to where your audience is, and you're making these things easier, and you're helping enable in that way. And you can't just build these, the old quote, if you build it, they will come. It's not that way with AI. That's you need to be purposeful of building these things. You need to meet the partners where they're at. You need to meet your audience where they're at, and provide valuable tools. So
Yeah.
excellent. Before we jump over, I wanted to, if there's any other last thoughts or anything you want to leave the audience with before we take a look at some other things.
What I would just add is the expectation from any stakeholders remains qualities, timely development, regardless if it's AI or not. I think the nuances is because AI is everywhere. There is sometimes the false assumption that you can deploy AI quickly. Well, you can if you have, again, the resources, the governance, the maturity in place, but it still takes time to make it right. And that is something very positive. You have to be very mindful on how you do it, even more if you are a big organization. But like any development of any type of capability, the expectation is the same. But for sure, with AI, the security and the trust, I think it's an element that also is always top of mind on how accurate the information I have is correct.
Excellent. Harbinder, any last thoughts for the audience?
No. I agree with Stephanie. It's just it's the nuances will kill you. Okay, not the broad strokes will then, nuances, that's what give you the gray hair. From everything looks great, but the nuances, the one you gotta really make sure when you're deploying something at big scale, you gotta be looking at those nuances first. The other part is coming back to you quick, and we can wrap this up, is the AI gives us, all the vendors, the capability to bring the tools and technologies to the partner. But that never existed before. So much easy, in a very easier fashion. So hopefully one day that would solve the problem. They don't have to come to you, but you could give them everything they need. So the vision is in a partner having an agent that they can just say, hey, I need XYZ content, or XYZ something happened. They just type it, it's delivered right into their environment, boom, easily, and they don't have to do much. I'm saying bringing the stuff that drives the adoption. That's anything, or where the partners are comfortable, their environment, bringing the stuff to them. And the AI definitely helps the way it states today. So that's what I would like to add.
Great. And speaking on that too, I'm going to transition here to Josh Vignovic, who's one of our senior solution engineers, who's actually going to kind of show how this works in practice, and showing bringing these solutions to the partners, making these things where they feel seamless when they really are powered by AI. But I want to thank both Stephanie, Harbinder. Thank you so much for the time sharing the insights. Really valuable. I think there's a lot of value taken from your insights. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And we're going to dive into the platform from the partner side and log in as our sample partner, Rose. And upon first login, Rose is going to land on her onboarding welcome journey. And this is where you can include a list of steps for each partner to complete as they're onboarding to learn more about your program or to complete any tasks that you want them to finish, such as updating their profile, where they can specify their language and time zone settings, as well as opt in to multi-language content if you're providing translated content for your partners. And these journeys work great for onboarding, but you can also have many different types of journeys. So whether it's onboarding or any other tracks that you want them to go through, it's all supported in the platform. And we can see that Rose works for VTech Solutions, which is a partner of Noto Technologies. And as a partner, Rose can access the asset library, where she can see her favorite content, recently used assets, search for assets, as well as view different folders by product or solution type. And within here, you can have many different types of content, emails, PDFs, brochures, presentations. You can segment what folders and types of content are visible to which partners. And you can give partners the ability to automatically co-brand, so they can simply select the piece that they want, and the attributes from their profile, like their logo, their contact information, are going to populate into that template automatically. And then they can easily share this with a prospect. They can download it, send it out. There's a trackable link that they can share, and they can also rate content and leave feedback for your marketing team. And beyond providing individual assets, you can take your content up a notch and provide full campaigns for partners to execute and generate their own leads. You can promote campaigns on the campaign spotlight on the homepage, or you can direct partners to the campaign center where they can see many different types of marketing campaigns available to them. Partners can filter through available campaigns. They can view which campaigns are in progress and which campaigns they have completed already. And they can execute new marketing campaigns from the campaign center. And in each marketing campaign, you can group together different assets or steps for partners to complete to do their own marketing. These include automatically co-branded email templates that partners can easily send to an audience list. Campaigns can be sent directly from the platform or downloaded and imported into the partner's preferred marketing tool. You can provide email drip sequences that partners can send to their audience and contact lists with built-in co-branded email templates, as well as built-in conditions and delays. Partners can assign a list of contacts or a dynamic audience list that they've created. And partners can control when the email campaign is being sent, who it's being sent out on behalf of, as well as who the reply to is in their inbox. You can provide social campaigns with posts ready to be sent to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. The partner can preview them, select the post that they want, and then send it to their social channels. You can also syndicate web content, so entire web page templates that partners can publish and use to generate their own leads or to direct calls to action to within the other parts of the campaign. And then you can also provide any other additional information that would be helpful for the partner when they're executing this campaign. Next, we're going to dive into the solution marketplace, where you can enable partners to create custom solution sets using multi-vendor offerings. Partners can set their own solution preferences or filter through all available solutions. Once the partner finds the solution that they want to view, you can provide things like overviews, interactive video content, interactive diagrams explaining complex workflows, customer benefits to help sell the solution, key features to help explain it, complementary services, as well as any relevant solution content. Partners can register a deal for a specific solution right from the marketplace. From the solution marketplace, I can select Bridge AI. Right away, I can see detailed information on the datasets this AI model was trained on, giving me confidence in its outputs. I browse the predefined prompt library and choose the education vertical. With one click, Bridge AI generates a personalized email template aimed at decision makers in the education sector. I can fine-tune it, then send it directly through MindMatrix or download it for use in my own outreach. Now let's dive into the full Bridge AI module. From here, I can see how Bridge AI powers multiple areas: help, solutions, marketing, sales, sentiment analysis, collaboration, insights, all designed to support your partners. I'll start by selecting help. I can immediately see Bridge AI has been trained on Noda's entire knowledge base, so every answer is grounded in real verified content. Bridge AI searches the knowledge base in seconds and generates a step-by-step help resource. I can open it right here, or with one click, share it directly with other members of my team, making sure we're all aligned and ready to act. Bridge AI makes finding answers and enabling your partners effortless. MindMatrix also makes key reports available to partners so they can measure the impact of their marketing efforts. For example, here's an email drip campaign report. I can see a clear summary of the campaign, including open rates, click-through rates, and even a breakdown of leads by level of interest. These insights give partners real-time visibility into what's working and where to focus next. And with the ROI report, partners can instantly see how their marketing efforts are driving results, tracking leads, deals, and opportunities influenced by campaigns and MDF spend. It's a clear view of true impact. Great. Well, thank you, everyone.